Hi, everybody, and welcome to another podcast here on Ask a Reader. And we are joined with, of course, as always, George and Karen. Welcome, George.
Hi.
Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
Hey guys.
So, today we are speaking about artificial intelligence versus human intelligence in this um, very interesting world that we live in right now. How is it affecting a scope of work in terms of all areas, specifically also towards astrology, numerology, tarot, and everything that we at Ask a Reader do? What is the real advantage or something which is non-negotiable or not, which we cannot take away from AI? And what is it that is absolutely, let's just say, something that AI cannot give us? So all this and much more right here. And we can start with Karen, who's going to discuss this more with the point of view of Vedic astrology and also with his own understanding and experiences of his own clients who come to him. So should we roll with you, Karen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, to start with, I would like to bring a very interesting point that AI, we think that, AI is a new thing which recently got created in 2015 or 2012. This is what we know. But it has actually got created and invented in 1950 and 1956 between that time zone. And if we just touch base the fact of, from the numerological point of view, astrological point of view, that era of 1950s and early 1950s, that was moreover dominated by planet Mercury. And planet Mercury is the ruling lord of, all the technologies. Planet Mercury is dynamic in the nature because it is going to change the sign in 88 days. It is going to move from one sign to another sign in 88 days. Whosoever becomes, let's say a IT professional or somewhere into engineering, somewhere into, anything related to the technical field or technological field, they're always dominated by planet Mercury. And Mercury has a specific role to play in the AI and the AI growth. So far, when we just consider the transit, because there are certain lab, 1956, when it started by Alan Turing, he seems to be the founder or the father of the AI. 1950, it started and it has its own labs. Because of that thing, it comes to the point as of now that Elon Musk or Ask AI or other people who are joining the party, they are just rolling the better software. They are helping the human being like you, me, and everyone to have a better technology, better field, and we can have, our work done in few minutes. Like the technology, I believe it's very helpful. There is a fear in the mind that, it will take away our job. And being into this field, astrology or the psychic or the numerology, there is a fear in the readers that it will take away that field. But just to clarify that point, the softwares were always present before the AI came. There is a website, there are so many websites which are present, which will be making the horoscope. What used to be in the past, like in 1980s or 1970s or 1990s or early 2000, Vedic astrologers used to find out Ghati, Fal, time era when the softwares were not present. Now, because of the softwares, the Kundli will be automatically coming on the screen. An astrologer, the work it got easier. That an astrologer can pick the chart, can easily pick the chart in few seconds, and can read the planets. And then, it is always based on the astrological point of view, how an astrologer read a chart. So no AI can replace a reader. No AI can replace me, you, George, anyone.
But Karan, a question for you. Do you often get people who come and inquire about their specific jobs, whether they have something to fear because of AI or whether their jobs are in, jeopardy?
Absolutely. I think if I am working and if I am getting 10 queries a day, two people will be asking me this thing that, their job will be taken by the AI. So what is happening? It is like evolving. And when things get evolved, like, the era from the typewriter to the computers, do you think that, the job people were working, they lost their job? Maybe they lost their job from the typewriter point of view. They have to learn the skills from the computer point of view. So there will be a replacement which will be happening. There will be no job loss. If somebody has to do the AI thing, somewhere, someone at the background will be working from the AI. And the psychology from the Mercury point of view, because Mercury is the ruling Karka or the significator of this AI, Mercury is so important that people don't understand. There is a fear in the mind, and technological fear is always there. There was a dot-com bubble, which happened in 2000. What
Mhm.
was that? What was that? That was also created from the Mercury point of view. It started in 1995, 1996. In 2000, it was a dot-com bubble. Then Lehman crisis happened in 2008. That was also a kind of a banking system where finances got stuck, bank got stuck, and a system got a failure. That any time whenever a system gets into a failure, that is always somewhere down the line from the Mercury point of view. And
Okay,
now
I
there is a
have a
fear.
little bit of a question for
Yeah.
you being a Vedic astrologer. Isn't it true that Kali Yuga is basically essentially ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is associated to AI? So does that also kind of play out in this whole thing with Mercury? Because I understand that Mercury is all about technology, but where does Rahu play out here? Rahu is North Node for people who are Western astrology, listeners.
So Rahu do have a specific role to play because Rahu is all about, greed. If a person is going to achieve one thing, what next? The greed never ends. So Rahu is going to create that psychology in the mind that, you need to research. So from that point of view, Rahu is a prominent player. But Rahu is not only the source which is ruling the Kali Yuga, and it is not a 100% accurate statement. It is somewhere right. It is not that 100% it is wrong. It is somewhere definitely right that Rahu do have a role to play. But not only Rahu, the other planets also. Because from the Vedic point of view, if we just consider what is Kali Yuga is a demon. Kali was a demon, and Kali is a demon who stay in our mind because it is in our mind. Kali got, four places to stay, and that was gambling, that was, robbery, theft, sex, and any materialistic value, and also gold and silver. Anything which has a value, money, gold, silver, Bitcoin, anything. So Rahu or Kali, because Rahu and Kali we cannot compare. Kali stay within us. Kali is inside me. Kali is inside you. Kali is inside of everyone. So it is the materialistic value which is present. And when we talk about AI is just, a research-based thing because I, grown up by playing video games. Now people are playing PlayStation. There is a demand for to play the PlayStation. Nobody play the video game. We used to play video games. We used to play games on the PC, the older point. But now everything is different.
Is that while AI is fantastic because it is enhancing in many ways, but it just requires us to perhaps also just upgrade on our skill sets and understand it as an additional tool rather than be dependent on it or be fearful of it.
Absolutely, because the fear, everybody gets that fear. Like, I generally get so many graphic designers, generally get, so many doctors that, this is available on the AI. Nobody can replace a human. Nobody. And I can have a viewpoint today, tomorrow I can be a different person because I cannot take a guarantee of my mind. How can a, computer or a machinery take guarantee of my mind? It can
Absolutely.
have an analytical point of view. It can definitely analyze something. It can analyze the pattern based on my morning and evening time frame. Just analytical point of view. What if I change my pattern? What if I do something against my pattern? Because that is my mind. Nobody can take away my mind. So the fear which we have, people need to understand if they are losing their job at one field, the other field and the other activities are opening up. And for example, 2012, very important point, 2012, and George is going to agree with me, it makes number five. That is the boom which we are in this era of, AI. The main phase of that AI started in 2012. That makes number five. Again in 2021, everybody started using the AI, and that was also number five. So we are into that cycle of Mercury, and Mercury is the key lot, and Mercury is getting better and better with the time. And this is where the technology and the research is working in that area. Nobody thought, people will be landing into the moon. Last year, recently, India went to the south side of the moon, and no major country have ever cracked that part. It is all the technology. which we are using or any other country are using. And this is all what we evolve.
Great. So, what do you have to say about that, George, from your point of view, from numbers, numerology, and of course, you being a spiritual healer? What do you feel about this whole thing?
Everything that Karen has said is I'm like, yes, that's great, and I love how he's connecting the planets to that and the numbers. I do want to say that he mentioned earlier about Alan Turing and Elon Musk, having the numbers 369 in your birthday. That in numerology is like the line of intelligence, right? And those guys both have the 369. If you see that, like 1969 and 1939, you'll see these years are really transformative years. We're coming up to 2025. The 5 is like the freedom number, the release. And then 2026, there's a 6 in 2026. That's going to be a big change point, a big creative point. Another thing I want to bring up about the AI and the computers, which is a little bit deep, is, right now computers are using 0101. That's what they use, right? That's all the coding is coming from 0101. And that's kind of like the 1. That's a 1. Numerology 0 plus 1 is a 1. That is a boss leader number 1, right? And the computers are basically leading. Data is driving everything. We'll get to a point where quantum computing won't rely on 01 anymore. It'll do it in a different way. And that will change as well, the way that the computers are leading everything. I think all of us have clients that have like, what about AI? What about my job? You're seeing these changes. You're seeing redundancies. You see it already. I feel like, and as far as numerology is concerned, it helps me to do more accurate predictions. The AI, it's like a tool. It's like Jeff Bezos says, AI is a discovery. There's so many things that could come out of it. We can use it as a tool. So I'm positive about it. I am. Of course, you can use a hammer to build a house. You can use it to hit somebody on the head, right? So it's like, how do you use it? This is the whole thing back to Thales and the Pharaoh, that whole story about writing and the invention of writing. As far as like what you said about the healing aspect, sure, it can build new medicines, it can help doctors, but it's not going to be able to give that. It's not going to be able to go up to a person like with our hands and feel where is the problem, what's going on. It won't be able to tell you which chakra needs balancing. It won't be able to touch somebody here on their chest or on their head and help them release an emotion or a trauma. So the AI won't be able to do that. The final thing I wanted to say was, which is very important, is the narrative that AI will control. And I think that is a huge aspect of this, because we all deal with consciousness and awareness. And if you raise a kid to believe all of these nice things, and then we program our kids with culture, religion, words, and guidance and values, AI is doing that same thing for the world. You get on there and whatever it produces, it will be the narrative. And that's the most important thing. Do we want AI, and it's moving now from 0 and 1, boss leader, right, to something different, quantum. AI can be the new Christ conscious. It can be the new narrative, which is showing everybody, hey, all of these amazing things are possible. There are so many more possibilities outside of what we're thinking about, this black and white or 0-1 kind of mentality. So I'm positive about AI. I really am. That it can assist us in many ways.
While you certainly see that it has its limitations in terms of the human experience.
Totally, yeah.
I can give you one more example. I can give one more example, because this came in my mind when, George was speaking, and he was rightly speaking about it, that, when AI cannot replace a human being, and if anybody is doing a coding, let's say if anybody is doing a coding from a psychological point of view, astrological point of view, numerological point of view, they have to take a help from a reader like, us. They cannot go away, and they cannot go away from the input. If we go to the chat GPT right now, the data they are providing, that is, I think, 2022. The data which is uploaded at chat GPT, that is till 2022. Now they have upgraded the system, ChatGPT 4.0, which is a new one, which is 2023 or something. This is not, they cannot be in this time. They cannot be in the month of October of 2024. They are already doing a data or the research which is from the past. If you put any info which, from the futuristic point of view, AI will never ever going to give us. And one more example which comes into my mind, like we speak, and it is a personal example. Last time I went to my bank for anything, that was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. Since then, I have never went to my bank or the branch of my bank because everything is online. Why do I need to go to a bank? And AI is just helping me in that way. Why do I need to be and stand in a line in a bank and to get an entry on my passbook or to have deposit a check when everything is available online, when I can transfer the money from my place within seconds to anyone I want to send. This is all technology. This is all AI. Somewhere it is all linked. And this is what we need to understand as a viewer. The people who do have a fear that, if one job will be killed, the other is coming. So astrological point of view, numerological point of view, tarot point of view, we as a readers do need to help, users to just search and pick the best alternative. What is the next best alternative? Once people understand the next best alternative, the fear will, be over. The fear will be dead.
Very well. So I think with that, let's come to what my points are. And I definitely feel that I agree with both of you. There is nothing that you've both have said which really makes a lot of sense. But for me, I definitely feel as a tarot reader, as a psychic, that the human experience is irreplaceable. What you get from a friend, from a relationship, whether that be a relationship within your family, whether that be your mother, your siblings, the person you love, you cannot have in any way an experience which is through a machine or through something which is computed, which gives you those feelings. Number one, as a reader, compassion is one of the main things that I feel is unique to every reader. I mean, every reader associates with a particular problem, the dynamics of a particular problem in a different manner. That is something, again, AI cannot be programmed to do, to relate to a person in a different manner and also have its own opinion on a particular subject or be able to navigate through the nuances, cultural nuances of the subject. You might have a person coming to you from, a person, a querent, coming to you from the US with completely different cultural backgrounds, rather than a person who is coming to you from a place like somewhere in Africa or South Africa, where the cultural background and the history has been totally different. Their human experience has been different. And that is something that AI can never be, let's say, programmed to differentiate between so many vast different human experiences. That is one thing I genuinely believe. So the composite nature of how a human being can weave different situations, past, present, future, and include their own feelings of compassion, of diagnosis of a situation, of prognosis, can only come from a human being to another human being. So I think that is the most essential quality, I feel, particularly in our field. That is why certain readers are liked. People come back again and again to a same reader because they have found that link or that bond with that one person. And that is unique to them, which AI can only give to a very, very small degree. So that is, of course, one critical point. Yes, George?
It's what you were saying. I'm just clarifying, there's a connection between two people, and not only it's like chemical, electrical, this has been proven. And then that is the link, the intuition. I have empathy. I'm literally picking up what you're feeling, and I'm feeling it here too. And show me an AI that can do that. That's not possible. We are
exactly. So when we talk about going deeper spiritually,
amazing ability. Yeah.
Sorry. So when we talk about going deeper spiritually, I think one of the first things that happens when you go into a retreat, a spiritual retreat, is that they will tell you to put all your phones and all your gizmos away. You don't carry that into your spiritual space, right? So that is something which is very, let's say, it's a very apparent and a bare fact that the minute you are into the space of Mercury and Rahu, then you are perhaps losing a little bit of touch with your own deeper self, So while there are the Jupiterian aspects, Karan, this is in reference to what you talked about, there is also the fact that in order to understand ourselves better, we also have to disconnect from AI to quite an extent, right? So while we, in our modern age, we totally need AI, and there's a complete dependency, and dependency is the word. It is there, yes. But there is also the critical need for us to grow as human beings in this very AI dependent world. And that would require us to very knowingly and very deliberately, let's say, stepping out of the realms of AI from time to time. So I think that with that, I would pretty much like to say, I mean, in my understanding, at least the trade that we are in, it's totally something which is not replaceable. We need human beings. We need you, Karan. We need you, George. And I think to some extent, we need people like me. Yes. So that
We
is.
need human. We definitely need human. And there is a movie, and I think Vani, you might have watched that movie. That movie called Munna Bhai MBPS. So this is absolutely nothing to do with the topic of AI, but like the human touch. There was a famous scene in a dialogue which got popular. It used to be Jadoo Ki Jhappi, and Jadoo Ki Jhappi means a hug which is all about magic. So if we are, yes, if we, warm hug, if we are hugging someone with the magical point of view, everything will disappear. The sorrow will disappear, sadness will disappear. If a person is depressed, that will disappear. That cannot be replaced by any robotic machinery or computer or laptop or iPad. We cannot do that. People outside the world, and that is actually popular. There are certain people who are just doing cuddles, and they're charging $80 for an hour, $100 for an hour. That happens a lot in the Europe. That happens a lot in the UK, and they're charging that much of money to have someone to do something like cuddling. That cannot be replaced by anything which is AI. So AI cannot replace any human at any format.
So
We just need to.
Cuddling is a new profession?
Not in India, definitely. If you tell this thing to anyone in India, they will kill us. But not in India, but definitely abroad.
Wonderful. So I think with that lovely thought, we can pretty much wrap up. Does anyone have any additional last pointers?
If we're not into, I want to let's say one last thing, and maybe you guys, I want to throw out a little prediction there, but I feel like 2026 is going to be a year where the AI will become incredibly intuitive. It'll be at a point where the phone you'll be looking at your phone, and it'll just do things automatically just by looking at your eye and your face. I think 2026 is that year. That's what I feel. That's what I want to say. If we don't head for a catastrophe before that, which we talked about in our previous podcast, which Karen also was talking about World War III and all that. I just wanted to leave with that. I think that's going to be a huge, big transformative year for AI.
I think I agree because if we just go with that point of view, what George was saying, that Bill Gates, he's 28 born and he's number one from the destiny number point of view. Elon Musk, he's also 28 born, and Elon Musk can be the father of this new AI which we are using right now. He can be the father of that because he's the one, he started in 2015. If we go back to the history, 2012 and 2015, Google started, and then he picked up, and then this Ask AI and everything started. And Mark Zuckerberg, he's number 5. His date of birth is 1 + 4, number 5. That is the destiny number. So both Elon Musk and this Mark Zuckerberg, both of them, they are going to take AI to the next level, and they are doing that thing. So 2026 is number one. It is going to be the matching number with both Elon Musk as well as Mark Zuckerberg, and also with Bill Gates. But in my opinion, the role from the Bill Gates point of view is limited in this part. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, who are the new brains, they are developing this thing to a next level. I think they are the main people.
But I think we can safely say that with this, that AI is totally something that is just an enhancer. It can never be a replacement. And we are all going to be, by and large, safe and sound with our jobs. So with that, I think we should totally call it a day.
Or
Yeah.
maybe we will find some better career. If we lose this job, maybe something else. Maybe we can become a YouTuber or vloggers into something else.
Wonderful. So with that, should we, so we are wrapping it up and we'll be back with something new and exciting. And I would love to tell everybody that Karan, George, and I are constantly planning up new exciting topics. Please hit us up with your ideas and please make sure you press the like button. Please subscribe to us if you're enjoying these, and we shall be back very soon with much more. So until then, bye, George.
If you want to send in questions, also send in your questions too.
Yes, please. Any questions? Please just post those and we'll be happy to get back to you. So with that, bye, George, and bye, Karan.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.